I wanted to start my class today is going to come from this invitation of this really cool art I bought yesterday. So I have to show it to you so that, because you won't be able to see it from afar. Hopefully you can see it. And it's called Heart Beet. And the invitation of the class is to tying into the nourishment and your heart. And so the double entendre of the beet, and she even has it illustrated like a netter with all the little labels, although I can't read what they say, but it's super cool. So I am moving it into the kitchen. I found it yesterday at the garden shop when I went to get all the veggies for the spring farm. And so I came home with this and some veggies, but it has a lot of beautiful invitations for what we do here in yoga and what I do at Pause and Presence in general. So I thought it would be fun to have a class about the invitations of heartbeat. So I'm going to put heartbeat there, though I know it's hard to see from afar. So find a comfortable seat on your mat, wherever you are. And I'm noticing a bunch more people have joined since I said what I said. So I'm going to say it one more time, which is the class today is coming with the inspiration of this piece of art that I got yesterday called Heart Beet. And it is a beet where the underground part of the beet is shaped like a human heart, and it has a whole netter-like appearance. And as you all who know me know, this is like spot on me. So I thought it would be really fun to explore this idea of heartbeat in our class this morning. So take a moment and find a comfortable seat and find your sit bones. Root them into the earth as if you were a beet who settled under the dirt, enjoying the cocoon and the nutrients and the nourishment of the earth, and grow your spine tall as if the spine is the beet greens growing up towards the sky, reaching the sun, gathering the nutrients from the sun. And find your breath. Beets, just like humans, breathe, photosynthesize through those leaves, breathing in through your nose, sending that nourishment to every nook and cranny. And exhale, let it out. Breathe with the beets or the spring trees or the spring buds, whatever you have around you in the world today. And if they're not quite out yet, remembering that beets are actually a winter root vegetable. So they are thriving even underground, potentially, getting ready for spring, if nothing else. The invitation of the earth and the vegetables is that they're always doing something, not exhausting, but perhaps resting or hibernating or germinating, gathering in the water to do what's next. And recognizing that we as humans also have similar planting cycles and resting cycles and spring growth cycles. And as we think about this idea of heartbeat, bring a hand to heart and another hand on top. Checking in with your own heartbeat, connecting to it, feeling it, and asking yourself what you notice. Can you hear your heartbeat underneath the busyness and wild adventure that we're on in the world right now? If you listened, what would your heart have to say? What is that heartbeat asking for? What is your beating heart or your desire center longing for, wishing for? Might be big, might be little. Letting that invitation be heard, not judged, just heard. And thinking about this idea of the heart as a source of nourishment. nourishing your body with oxygenated blood, taking good care of itself, nourishing itself first, and doing so in the rest phase. It's one of the things I like to bring to retreats is that we nourish ourselves and heal ourselves in that rest phase. Your heart does this, and we as humans do this. We need the space and the time to fill. And thinking about how you nourish yourself. How do you refill yourself? How do you take good care of your beating heart as you move through this life? So often in medicine, we disregard ourselves with some higher glory of taking care of all the others. But recognizing your beating heart, your heartbeat also needs care. And what does that look like? Is it with sunshine? Is it with water? Is it with nourishing soil? What do you need to grow into that most delightful, and I would say, big, full, fat beet that is sweet? Beets are actually quite sweet. What do you need to be that beautiful, vibrant red color? What's missing? What would you like more of? And inviting this idea of a heartbeat as an invitation for connection to yourself, connection to your desires, connection to your being a living being with a beat every moment, and connection to all the other heartbeats here, practicing with us this morning, near and far, and perhaps those other heartbeats in your home, and heartbeats in your family, and heartbeats in your work, heartbeats in the greater world, sharing and connecting all those heartbeats. The heartbeat of humanity. Kristen Neff talks about common humanity, and one of the commonalities is the heart and the heartbeat. And thinking of all those beats in the earth and what we share with the earth, and how we nourish the earth, and the earth nourishes us through things like beautiful beets growing up out of the dirt. Letting this more beautiful, bigger scale idea of nourishment and hearts and beating hearts and love and connection and reconnection in all the ways, the human spirit and human laughter, the sunshine, all of the things, letting that just fill every nook and cranny, shifting your cells on a cellular level. Plants that grow and hearts are full of bags of cells. We are bags of cells. Letting the invitation of this heartbeat travel and percolate into every cell, a little joy and fun. Just noticing how you feel. And when the hand to heart feels complete, send a little additional press of oxytocin through your body by pressing the heel of your hand into the heart space. Rub the top hand on the bottom. Let that skin to skin nourish you. And let a final big breath nourish you here. And bring hands to heart together, rub them together, create a little heat, nourishing yourself with the heat and the energy. Press thumbs into the sternum, finger pads reach to the sky, and set your intention perhaps around this idea of heartbeat, which does have a little loving amusement and humor to it, remembering that play and fun adds to this sense of a fulfilled life. And how does your physical nourishment through eating and growing, and perhaps hands in the dirt or whatever version that looks like for you, feet in the dirt, what does that look like for you? What would a well-nourished life and a well-nourished heart that was beating not under pressure, not racing, not squished and stepped on, but beating in this full, most loving, luxurious, happy, healthy way. And how might you attend to that here in this class, as well as off your mat, whether it be later today, later this week, later this month, this year? What would it look like to pay more attention to your heart's beat in all the ways that we've explored here in this moment? Giving yourself a moment to consider, a moment to enjoy the silence of your own heartbeat, connecting inwards, remembering you have a heart. It has wants, wishes, and desires. And it's a living being thing that feels and grows and swells and tightens, honoring our common humanity of that heart and its beat. And when that feels complete, lower your hands and open your eyes and move a little bit, honoring the human body's need for movement. And we'll reach our arms out and up in this big, full circle, abundant spring way. This is the first class of spring too here. Shimmy your waist and grow as tall as you can. Let your heart shine forward. Slight arch back, opening your heart. Big breath in. Exhale, round forward, giving your heart some space, letting it press all the way to the back of your spine and the back body. Inhale, create space, open up with the breath, let it feel amazing. Exhale, round forward, let your back wake up, stretch. I know for some of you, you're on the East Coast, you're already awake, but here it's morning. Opening up once again, hands to the sky. Open your arms out wide and wrap your arms in a huge beach ball in front. Being kind to that heartbeat in there, taking good care of it. And open arms, let your heart shine forward as if it is that full beat. For those of you who saw the really full heart-shaped beat on my new piece of art that's going to be in the teaching kitchen here. Round forward once again, scoop all the wonderfulness in, all the vibrancy of beautiful beats and the vibrancy of spring. And opening up, giving your heart space to beat in this way. Round forward and enjoy it, and open, let your heart shine to the sky. Pause here, squeeze your heart as if it is, hands as if they are the heart, squeezing them tight and release, letting things go. Squeeze and open, recognizing this pattern of the heart. It beats, it opens and fills, and squeezes and pumps. Let your hands do that, noticing the energy and the heat and the movement when we pump, perhaps not so fast, noticing when you pump fast, how stressful it is, how your arms hurt, maybe letting your body do this slowly, enjoy it. Pause, turn your palms to face front. Lower them down to the floor, arms straight behind you, as if you were making a snow angel, and reach arms up to the sky, letting your heart shine forward, things open up, and arms, everything open, creating room and space and capacity with both movement and arm stretching. Those beats are full of nourishment. They have lots of capacity to soak up water and sun. Let your arms move and enjoy the heat and the energy. Lowering them down to your sides, shrug your shoulders up, drop your occiput into them, enjoy the massage, and let things melt on the exhale. Breathe in through your nose, send the breath to the back side of the chest. And exhale, let it out. And once more, give that beautiful human heart a hug with the breath, and exhale, let it out. Open eyes, stretch your legs long and just have a bang, inviting a little movement here. Slide forward onto your thighs and rock your hips so your sit bones root downward. Slide hands down your thighs to your shins. Let your human heart shine forward. Will be heart-focused, heart shining, leading with your heart, nourishing your heart all morning. Envisioning that heart filling like one of those big juicy beets you see at the farmer's market. And notice they're all kind of dirty and on the outside, not perfect, not lumpy, and yet they're so vibrant. Big breath in. Exhale, slide forward. Reach towards your toes. Let the energy move. Perhaps rub your hands on your shins. Notice the energy. And slowly slide up your shins to your knees, to your thighs. Bring the soles of your feet together. Come into butterfly pose and rock on those sit bones. Perhaps rock side to side, waking things up. Enjoy the fun of it. Bring hands to toes if you can, and drop the knees towards the side. Enjoy an opening in the inner thighs. Close your eyes and reconnect with that human heart, your heartbeat. See if you can hear it with eyes closed in stillness. Send the breath down past the heart into the root of your pelvis, your creativity center, that part of you that's uniquely you, and also that sense of safety, noticing that when you are rooted downward into this beautiful earth, that things feel better. We can model ourselves after those beets. They park themselves in the dirt and absorb all the nutrients and let themselves rest and sit there and fill. And how might you need or want to do that? Release your hands and we'll stretch our legs, sweep them around, come to hands and knees. I changed out my mat for spring for fun. It's all flowers. Little things can make life more fun. Let yourself have fun. It is part of the nourishment. Spread your fingers wide, plant your hands, let your shoulders, humeral heads tuck into the shoulders, tops of the feet on the earth. Inhale for cow, heart shines forward. Let yourself be a happy, lucky spring cow, munching on the abundance of green grass. We have that here in California already. And round, suck your navel up, drop your head and neck, enjoy your cat. Let your spine fill as if it's a heart. Move in that smooth, easeful way, cow and cat. Once more, let this all be really juicy and nourishing. Thinking about nourishment as you move today. Come back to tabletop. Stretch your left leg long, drop your heel, reach your left arm up and circle, creating some space, letting your heart shine forward as you do. Go in both directions. Pause at the top. Draw that left hand back. Open your heart, gaze up. Roll your wrist. Let your head be loose. Be kind to your neck here. Come back to tabletop. Stretch your right leg long, drop your heel, reach your arm to the sky. Have some big, abundant circles. Invite the movement in both directions. Stop at the top. Draw your arm, shoulder back, gaze up, roll your wrist if you wish. Let your heart be full here, giving it space and time to fill as you slow your heart rate down. Come back to heart center. Come down to your elbows. Your forearms will be flat. We're coming into puppy pose, which is also called melting heart. Lower your forehead to the floor. Let your heart literally melt to the floor. Envisioning it as a beat underground, enjoy its beating. And ask yourself what your beating living heart desires, wants more of, might like to let go of. Can go either way. Honoring that human heart. No one else needs to know the conversation happening in your head. It's a moment for you to reconnect back to you. Gardening reconnects you to the earth and to yourself in this quiet, meditative way. What else might help you feel that way? What can you learn from even the vegetables you get at the markets? Notice how they make you feel, those bunches of beets. And thinking of them as a heartbeat,
makes me laugh, but also it's a very abundant, full, vibrant, happy, healthy version of a beet. Rather than thinking it's dirty and lumpy, same beet. Huge breath in, fill your heart, give it space to fill completely. Exhale, let it out.
Slide forward to Sphinx and let that amazing heart shine forward. Let your back feel good. Elbows plant downward, palms on the floor. Spread your fingers wide. Let your heart shine forward. Tops of the hips press downward. Tops of the feet press downward. Pause here. Huge breath in and out. 2 more big breaths. Wrap your heart with a hug. Embrace that beating heart. And embrace this idea of nourishment. What else do you need to nourish yourself fully? To nourish your heart fully, your humanness fully, your aliveness fully. Having a beating heart means you are alive. That's good. But living as if you're alive, what would you like to shift to be that vibrant spring human heart? Curl your toes, press back to child's pose as an act of kindness and self-compassion for your lower back. Come back to tabletop. Reach that left arm up to the sky, thread the needle through, enjoy the back of the shoulder, and let your heart gaze to the right. Stretch your right arm long if you can. Left arm is also spread long, back of the hand and back of the arm are on the floor. Enjoy that heart opening, enjoy the twisting, breathe fully. Bathe your belly and bathe your heart with nourishment of breath. One more breath here. Bring your right hand back by your face. Untangle, stretch, let your heart open and be seen. Come back to tabletop. Switch sides. Right arm reaches up. Thread it through. Let your heart shine forward. Gaze forward under your armpit. Spread your arm long. Enjoy all of this. The stretch, the twisting. For me, the invitation of the beats is they're often quite funny looking and they're often twisted. All good. Let it feel good. Perhaps you're wrapped up here like a beet underground growing before it's been pulled up out of the ground. Just enjoying the quiet and the calm on the floor and listening to your own heartbeat. What might happen if you pause to listen to that beating heart a little more often, or even simply remembered you had one? Bring your hand back by your face, untangle. Take a moment to reach high and let your heart peek the other way. Come back to tabletop. Curl your toes, press your hands in and shoot those hips up to downward dog. Enjoy a moment here. Maybe go for a walk, exercising that human heart. Stretch. Let your heart hang light here against gravity. Give it space to fill, time to fill. Bathe it with breath, nourishing it. Noticing that when we nourish things, that's one of the invitations of farm gardening, eating healthy, lifestyle medicine, they thrive. Are you nourishing yourself? What do you need to nourish yourself with? And it isn't just food. It's often the digging in the dirt, the sunshine, the wildflowers, friends, laughter. Maybe it's literally space lying on your mat. What nourishes you? Root your right foot down and root the sole of the foot down and all 5 toes. Engage your belly and stretch that left leg long, coming into 3-legged dog. Stack your hip, bend your knee, and let your hip open. Let this feel good. Let it be luxurious and abundant. Beets with beet tops feel that way. Resquare your hips, stretch your leg long. Gently bring your foot between your hands. Come into a low lunge. If you need a blanket under your knee, do that. Wiggle the front toes forward. Bring hands to hips to start, finding your steady. Tack your left hip back and your right hip forward and sink in with kindness. Low lunge is a heart opener. With your hands to hips, draw your elbows back, let your heart shine forward. Some of you may wish to clasp your hands at your sacrum and shoot them towards the floor. Let your heart open. And gaze at the view, gaze far ahead. Let your heart see with your heart, nourish your heart. Appreciate what's out there. There's this gorgeous bird outside my window. Breathe in and out. And had I not paused and looked this way, I would have missed it. Letting yourself realize, what do you miss when you don't slow down and listen to your heart and pause and give it time to beat and fill? Reach your hands, release the hands, shake them out, reach them up to the sky. Drop your left hand to the left hip, gently tip to the right, and enjoy the opening in the right hip. Let that feel good. Reach that left arm up to the sky. Palms come together. Bring your hands to heart center. We're going to come into a twist here if that works for you. If it doesn't, just opt out. You shift your torso forward about halfway. You're going to bend into that front knee and hook your right elbow onto the left knee. And if your knee doesn't like this, you can come up onto a high lunge. That might work, or just stay where you were. Notice as you twist, if you'd like to slide your back knee farther without just letting things go, be kind. We always practice kindness and self-compassion in yoga. Come back to center. Light arch back with the hands pressing into the heart. Close your eyes and take a moment to connect with your heartbeat here. Huge breath in and out. Maybe that horse's breath. Lower your hands to the floor on the inside of the left foot. Walk your left foot to the outside of the mat. Roll it open. Come into lizard pose. And you can rock or stay still. If you have blocks, you can use them. Keep it simple. Let your groin open up. Enjoy melding down to the floor and the earth like lizards do. See if you can't send your heart forward, gaze forward without crunching and squishing things. Wiggle fingers and toes. Huge breath in and out. One more breath here. Knowing it's a lot, connecting with that deeper sense of self. Your heart's desire is down in your hips. Take your left hand, bring it back to the front, back to the left side of your left foot. Curl your back toe, hop up, hop that back foot forward, come to a high lunge. Hips are square. Walk up your left thigh and reach your arms up. And if you tip, widen your stance. Let it feel amazing here. Huge breath in and out. Bring your hands to heart center once again. Press your thumbs into your sternum, straight your front knee, and bend. And enjoy the tips if that happens. Straight your front knee and bend. See if you can't reconnect with that rhythm of your heart as you move. Let it be a rhythmic, easy flow. Pause with your knee bent. Notice if your heart is beating faster or harder as you're standing here in this position. Lower your hands to opposite sides of your foot. Hop your back foot forward. Come into a pyramid pose. Let the energy move and shift. Tack your left hip back, right hip forward. Inhale for a half lift. Your heart shines forward. Let it fill with breath and air and energy. Exhale, fold forward, release. Letting your heart hide for a minute and drop your head. Release your head and neck. Shaking it out. Everything loosey-goosey. And play here, shifting into toes and back. Enjoying that light spring energy. Pause, close your eyes as if you're a beet or a carrot or anything else that grows underground. Letting yourself absorb the energy of the darkness and the stillness. That can also be nourishing. Not resisting, letting things move and grow, and just enjoying the being
Not that I've ever been a beet, but that's what I imagine it's doing underground. Rock your hips back and forth. Enjoy any stretch that may come with that. Walk your hands forward a wee bit. Bring your front foot alongside the back foot alongside the other foot. Sink your hips back and come into that invisible chair. Sink your hips back, hands come to heart center. Pressing into that beating heart here as you sink your hips back. Lots of energy is going to shift. Lift your toes up, breathe, and lower them down. Continue to breathe. Notice your heartbeat under your hands. Our hands are not shooting forward. They're pressing into the heart space. Lower your hands, shoot your hips up, drop your head and neck, and release the tension. We're going to squat down into yogi squat in a grounding experience. Widen your feet into almost a second position, sink your hips down, and bring your hands to heart once again. The elbows come into the inner knees, press thumbs into the heart space, sink your hips, sink your heels down. And if you can, rise up, gaze forward. And enjoy this grounding. Imagine yourself grounding into the earth. And learning those grounding lessons from the earth. What do you need to know? Maybe you're planting seeds here for something you'd like to grow. Maybe you're listening to your own heart or your own desires as your root sinks downward. You can envision your roots spreading out into the earth to get nutrients and energy. Big breath in. Nourish yourself with the breath. Maybe with the sunshine as your head is popping up towards the sky. Lower right hand, reach your left hand to the sky because it's fun. Roll your wrist. Come back to center. Hands to heart. Switch sides. Open your heart. Let your heart see, breathe, beat. Give it space and come back to center. Lower hands. Point your toes to the front, feet face front, and shoot your hips up. Release. Plant your left hand on the earth and plant it or use a block. Bend your left knee, twist to the right, roll your wrist out. Switch sides. Right hand plants literally into the earth. Bend your knee, twist to the left, roll your wrist. Thinking about this idea of planting and how it feels, it gives you steadiness. Invitations of the beats. Come back to center, bend your knees juicily. Engage your belly and slowly unroll. Reach your arms out to the sky as you unroll, bringing them together above you. Slight arch back, let your heart shine forward, and drip your hands back to heart center as you stand. Take a moment here to re-equilibrate, integrate. Notice what's up. Breathe. Huge breath in and out. Checking in with that beating heart under your thumbs. Any messages there? Have any wisdom or things to say? And if your heart feels tight or upset or angry, envision it as that beet, a beet growing underground, that vibrant red beet juice when you cut into it. And remembering that beets are deliciously sweet. Letting that be the invitation of abundance and sweetness. Nourishment. Lift up all 10 toes. Send them down like roots, one at a time, noticing the value of the roots. Press your thumbs into your sternum, open eyes, let the light in, and lower your hands. Give yourself a moment to roll your shoulders back and forward. Nourish yourself with movement and come to stillness. Reach your arms out and up towards the sky. Your palms will come together. Slight arch back and we'll drip forward, forward fold. Let the flow be nourishing. Inhale, gaze up. Let your beautiful heart, your beating heart shine forward.
Exhale, lower down into a forward fold, ground root. Inhale for another half lift, drawing up the water or the energy from the roots, and lower down. Plant your hands onto your mat, step your feet back, come to plank. Find your hips. Potentially have a little waggle here. Find steady. Hands are planted. Balls of the feet are planted. Toes are planted. Shift your weight and heart forward. Bend your knees, tuck your elbows in, roll down chaturanga towards the earth. Inhale for a low cobra. Let your heart look, see, lead. Exhale, lower down. Once more, inhale for that low cobra. Enjoy your lower back. Send your hips down. Heart shines forward. Crown of the head reaches to the sky. Tops of the feet graze the floor. Lower down. Curl those toes and press up to downward dog. Walk that dog. Can be an exercise walk. Get your heartbeat going. Or notice your heartbeat here. Notice what your heart craves. Does it want to go faster or slow down and enjoy a pause and filling? You choose. Take a moment here to listen to your heartbeat. Listen to that heart's desires. Breathe. Bathe the heart with breath hugs. Let the heart enjoy the space of being upside down. Lift up the 5 toes on your left foot and root them down. Root your hands down. Let your fingers be the roots to stabilize you. Find your belly. Let your core stabilize you. Raise your right leg to the sky. Stack your hip. Roll your wrists. Roll your ankle, sorry. Enjoy all the sensations here. Let it be a big, lovely stretch. Let your heart peek out under the right armpit. Re-square your hips. Stretch your leg long. Big inhale. Exhale, bring your foot between your hands. Come into that low lunge again and take your time. Be kind. We're so good at being mean to ourselves and doing things that hurt. If your knee needs a blanket, do that. If you need to stretch your front foot a little farther forward, do that. And start with hands to hips. Don't just jump right in. Tack your right hip back and your left hip forward. And breathe. If you wish to clasp your hands at your sacrum, press your fists down, let your heart shine forward. Do that. And pause. Let the breath pour into the left hip flexor. Close eyes if you can, and reconnect with your beating heart, your heart's beat. With this idea of nourishing, what do you need to nourish yourself? Is it more community? Is it more space and time? Is it slowing down that heartbeat? Is it digging in the dirt, being in nature, lying under a tree, gazing at the stars? What is it? Release your hands, shake them out. Bring your left hand up to the sky and tip gently to the right. Enjoy a little more space in that left hip. Softening, letting go of anything that might like to go. Come back to center, raise both arms to the sky, bring hands to heart center, press your thumbs together, press thumbs into the sternum, shift your torso halfway forward, up your elbow and come into a bit of a twist. Doesn't have to be too much. Don't overdo it. More is not better. Little subtle, significant, little movements. Noting your heart doesn't change in big ways. It's always there, always beating, always doing its thing, thankfully. Come back to center, rising up. Bring hands to the inside of the right foot. Walk your right foot out to the edge, roll onto the outer edge of the right foot and come into lizard. Take a moment here to be comfortable because very often we come into lizard, we're miserable. So let it be a comfortable lizard. Let your hips open, let yourself rock or be still. I invite you to stay up and let your heart shine forward today. Letting those beating hearts be the stars, giving them a moment in the sun. Pour the breath in. Nourish your hips, your heart, your creative centers, your pelvis, the part that's you, your roots. Nourish your roots with the breath and the space. Bring your knee back to upright. Walk your hand to the outside. Readjust your feet, curl your back toes, lift up to a high lunge, and slowly walk up the right leg to upright. Take your time, use the wall, do whatever it needs, and don't overdo it. Be really kind. Bring hands to hips, re-square your hips and sink in. Bend your front knee, ensure your front knee is not in front of your ankle, and bring those hands to heart once again. Take a moment here. Straight your front knee and bend. Move in a flow that feels right to your body. Use the breath. Oops. And if you're tippy, be kind. You never know when you might be tippy. Pause here in that high lunge for a moment. Lower hands to the floor. Hop your back foot forward. Come to pyramid. Both feet are jet line to the front. Both knees are straight. You can use blocks if you need. Inhale for that half lift. Let your heart shine forward. Exhale, forward fold. Release your head and neck. Inhale once again for that half lift. Let it feel nice and juicy and delicious. Exhale, forward fold. Pause and enjoy. Notice your beating heart here. It may be beating a bit more. Enjoy your toes and your roots. Lift them up and root them down if you wish. You choose. Straight your right knee. If you can, maybe shift your weight. Let this feel nourishing. It doesn't feel nourishing if it feels like someone's squeezing your heart. Rearrange. Have a wiggle. Let things go. Remember to breathe. Huge breath in and out. Hop your back foot forward to meet your front foot. Engage your belly and roll up. You can sweep your arms out and up or come up slowly. You choose what feels good to you. Give yourself a minute, a moment to catch your breath. Enjoy your heartbeat. Wiggle fingers and toes. And we're going to come into dancer pose because it feels fun and heartbeats are fun. It may get your heart beating. Send your roots downward, both feet, both legs, sending the energy into the earth. Lift up your 10 toes, lower them down. As you do, draw more energy up from the earth into your belly, as if you're drawing nutrients into your belly. Bring your hands to your hips. Raise your left knee to hip height. Pause here for a moment. Slide left hand over the left thigh, down the left shin. Bring your left heel to your rear end. Re-square your hips. And if it feels fun, reach your left arm to the sky. Enjoy the stretch for a moment. No rush. Exhale, tip forward, bend that knee, and come into whatever dancer pose feels good. Let your heart shine as you do it. Let your spirit be nourished. Roll your wrists. Thinking about this idea of nourishment, nourishing your heart, nourishing your body, nourishing your spirit and your soul, all those things. Physically, spiritually, naturally, meaning with nature. Coming back up, release and shake it out, inviting all the movement, energy, wiggles. Have a big shake here. In somatics, we shake everything out. So just shake out all the crap that needs to go. Come to stillness. Perhaps close eyes, go back inward. And root your left leg down. Lift up the 5 toes on your left leg. Send those roots, tendrils downward. Inhale, draw the energy up through the left leg, through the pelvis, evening you. Hands to hips, right knee comes to hip height, pause. Find your steadiness, roll your ankle, knowing you're steady. No hurry. Right hand slides over the right thigh, down the right shin, bring your heel to your rear end and pause. You can reach your left hand to the sky if that's fun. And if it's fun to tip, let your heart shine forward. Let it be fun. Do what feels really good. Your arm may want to come out. It may want to come forward. It may want to come up. There's no right way to dance. I think we think there's always the right way. There's a fuller expression of the pose, which is not true. Let it just feel good. Let it be your version. Reaching your left arm to the sky, lower down and release and have a little dance shake out. Let it all, the stuff that's not needed go. Perhaps even shake your hands. There's so much in the world that just needs to go right now. So with humor, let it go. And we'll come to lie on the earth now, literally planting yourself on the garden of your mat. We have planter beds here. So I'm envisioning my mat as a planter bed where beets might be planted, but all the other stuff is going in today too. Thinking about that in this bed of soil and nourishment. Notice your feet on the floor, sacrum on the floor. Let the earth under you be a source of support, source of nourishment and healing. Noticing your heart here beating, always taking good care. Let your breath be a source of nourishment. And let the space and time be a source of nourishment. Enjoy the stillness here. Bring your knees together, feet apart. Raise your arms over in an easy cactus shape. And today, windshield wiper your knees at whatever pace feels good to you. It might be hanging out on one side and the other, or it might be switching sides like windshield wipers. Let it feel really good. Really, really good. Let it be the most nourishing, delightful, kind experience. Enjoy your psoas, enjoy your hips. Come back to center. Walk your feet to be in line with your hips. Bring your hands down by your sides. Plant your palms on the earth. Walk your heels towards your hips. Lift up into a bridge pose. Shimmy shoulders underneath. Let your heart shine. See out. Hips will reach to the sky. Use energy here, letting your heart feel alive with lots of room to fill. Hips reach to the sky, glutes engaged, knees energetically connect. Note if your knees are super squunched and walk your feet a little farther forward, creating space. Let your glutes shake and be alive here, reaching up, shimmy shoulders under you a little bit more. Grab edges of your mat, tug your mat to your heels, lift up even a little bit more, being kind. If this anymore is too much, don't do it. Lift up onto both toes, reach your hips to the sky. High, 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 high. Lower heels, release the mat, untuck your shoulders, lower down and connect to your heartbeat as you melt into the floor. Noticing that perhaps it's moving faster and the beat is giving it less time to fill. Letting it slow down. Noticing also that even when it's moving faster, it's still pausing to nourish you, micro pauses. It's kind of smart, that part. Huge breath in and out. Bring your knees to your chest, squeeze them in and have a rock side to side all the way to the edge of your hip without tipping, or maybe you tip and then you come back. Don't worry about it. Come back to center. Hug your knees towards you, bring your forehead toward you. Squeeze yourself up in a tiny, tiny, tiny ball. Exhale, release. Stretch your legs long, your arms long, coming into the tallest, longest, stretched out version of you. Have a couple breaths here and enjoy the most luxurious stretch, whatever feels good to you. You may want to kind of shimmy. You may want to just reach long. You may want to walk feet to the left, right ankle over left. You may want to tug your wrist. Many of you have been doing yoga with me for a long time. And so remember some of the things, whatever feels good. And if you don't know, just play with it. Let your body and your heart tell you what would feel good. It's a good practice. If you went one side, even it out and do the other. That is kind. Come back to center. Having more stretch. Let it be amazing. Maybe you roll ankles, wrists, and relax. Bring hands back to center, to your sides. Flatten your sacrum. Bring soles of the feet together, knees apart. And bring a hand to heart and a hand to belly into Supta Baddha Konasana, or reclining butterfly. Pausing here to connect to your beating heart. Listening to your heartbeat. Reconnecting to your human heart, to your beating, alive human heart. Sending it breath and nourishment and space and time to fill. Potentially asking this question about nourishment. What does your beating heart need to be nourished? What does it need to be the most delicious beat? A sweet, juicy, vibrant, colorful beat. What do you need more of in your life? Or less of? Maybe you need to let something go. Enjoying the stillness for 5 more breaths. Stillness and quiet, a rarity. Bring your hands to the outer edges of your thighs. Bring your knees together. Bring your knees together, feet apart, arms overhead. Once again, a windshield wiper or 2, or a luxurious stretch on each side. Nourishing your heart, your body, your spirit. Let this easy movement be nourishment. And take a moment to do any pose here that would feel delicious to you. Note the word delicious. Anything your body craves, let that be what you choose. And if you choose to come into Shavasana early, now, because that's what your body craves, do that. And let this Shavasana today be absolutely delicious and abundant. like a vibrant human beating heart that's healthy, like a beet that's healthy, with the beautiful beet tops shooting up in those vibrant red and greens. My mind goes to the beet juice that Mark makes at retreats. It's the most amazing color. And when you feel complete with your delicious stretches and cravings met, allow yourself to land and arrive in Shavasana. We call it final resting pose, not in a morbid way, but in the pose that allows you to integrate the movement, the breath, and the experience of this class. Yoga is much more than the movement. It's a spiritual practice. It's a healing practice. It's an awakening practice. It's a getting to know yourself practice. It's about stretching yourself and rooting yourself, finding the place between effort and ease. It's about letting go of where you were once stuck. Coming back to your breath, taking in a big inhale, a huge exhale to settle in here, to let go of controlling, fixing, giving yourself a few moments here to integrate, heal, absorb, appreciate, acknowledge, marinate, bask in the sunshine, whatever feels right to you. Letting yourself enjoy Shavasana. You can stay here as long as your heart's desire. If you crave more nourishment or it feels delicious and you have the opportunity, please stay longer and enjoy. For those of you who are ready, gently, slowly deepen your breath. Let yourself become aware of your beating heart. Let yourself come back into feeling alive and awake. Let this be an awakening. Gently wiggle fingers and toes. And enjoy another delicious stretch. When that feels complete, roll over to one side. Pause in fetal position. You can use your arms as a pillow and connect to that heartbeat, your beating heart. Taking a moment to acknowledge and appreciating the existence of that heartbeat. And asking yourself, what do you need to feel nourished? To nourish your heart, your spirit, your body, your mind. If it's available, you can bring a hand to heart here and just listen to the answer to that question. No one needs to know, but maybe you know, and let whatever comes without judgment. And when you feel complete, rise up to a comfortable seat where we began and bring hands to heart, right over your beating heart. Press the heel of your hand into the heart space and the top hand press into the bottom hand. And pause here for a moment, pause and breathe, and take your time to arrive here. Thank you all so much for practicing with me today. May all your hearts beat fully and happily. May you nourish yourself with sunshine, joy, human connection, laughter, literal beats, and other things that grow from the ground. May you enjoy spring, and I will see you all next week. Namaste.
Namaste.
And for anyone who didn't get to see my awesome human heart because you logged on afterwards, it's my heartbeat. It's super cool. Isn't that cool? Her name is, I think it's Faye Helfer. Anyway, I found it in my local shop, but so you'll have to come. I might have to get, she has some other ones, but this is the best one. So, really the best one. Could you see it, Shelley?
Yeah.
You really have to see it. So good. It looks like Netter because it even has these little things. I mean, I can't read what they say, but she did a really good job. And this is something that I